Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mavis and this is Mavis, and today we'll be making a beanie. I'll show you how, and today I'll be using the 100 gram. It's an acrylic yarn, a size 5mm hook, a measuring tape, a tapestry needle, stitch markers, a pair of scissors, chain 58 adult size, 1 2 3 4 5 until 58. I'll leave 12 on the 13th stitch. That's where I'll insert my stitch marker. So this is how my fold will look like. Count 16 downward. On the 17th one, I'm going to put another a stitch marker. So this is where I'll put my stitch marker. So you skip the first one and then you start on the second one. This doesn't matter that much going the other way, so I'll show you how. So just skip the first one, and this is how we're going to work with. This is a slip stitch. So we're going to be crocheting or doing this until the last safety pin or stitch marker. Okay, this is how far I am. So before we reach, I stop before I reach my stitch marker. So this is where my stitch marker is, and I'm going to chain one here and turn my work. And I'm going to do my single crochet at the back, my slip stitch at the back of my stitches. It's not the front here. I'm going to be inserting my hook just at the back. I'm going to be working on this chain here. Excuse me. So that's where I'll be doing my slip stitch. So I'm going to do this across. Do this until the end. So when you get to the end, we have this last stitch here that you can easily skip it because of how it is. It doesn't look like you have to do something on it, but you should try and do. This is the last stitch so that your pattern or your project will be straight. So make sure that you pick that last stitch and then you chain one and you turn your work and continue again going the other way until the last stitch marker. So you're going to do this until the last stitch marker. So on our last stitch again, before we end, is always looking like this. So again, please pick on the last stitch, don't skip it. It's always hidden. Make sure that you crochet till the last stitch. So now we are at our stitch marker, so we are going to do your stitches or continue with your single crochet this way. So you're going to do your stitch because the stitch marker is there already. We've crocheted or we've inserted a stitch on that one there. So you're going to skip where the stitch marker is. Let's put it this way. So you're going to insert your hook there and do your single crochet. So you do single crochet twice and you chain and you turn your work and you start again your single crochet until the end. When you get to the end, chain 1 and turn and start again going to the other end, and try and be soft on this. Don't make your stitches very tight because it's a slip stitch. It can be so tight and you'll find it difficult to insert your hook. So make sure that you don't make your hand stiff. Don't pull your stitches a lot. So that is why when you do this, it's easier for you not to pull. But I can do just that because I can make my hand too loose still. But all this is when you get hang of it. It's a very fast stitch. It looks slow, but it is because you don't yarn over a lot like other stitches. So you just do this across. Before our last stitch, you don't forget to pick that stitch there, and then you go to the next one down here. So you're going to pick 2 of this and then make 2 slip stitches. So you chain and you turn. So we are going to continue doing this. After the last stitch, you go down to your chain and pick 2 stitches and turn, and do this until you have the last. I have reached my last stitch. So this is how it looks. You must have something like this. This is what you should have. So now we are going to create the same stitch that you started with again here. So you're going to count 16 stitches, and on the 17th one you put your stitch marker. So we can remove this. This is just where you fold, of course, as your head. So this is not that much of importance. I'm going to chain 1 before I turn and start my single crochets. So this is, make sure that I have the same stitches, which is 16. So I'm still going the other way, but now I just want to show you where I want to put my stitch marker. So I'll count 16. So the stitches, I'll start from this one, so it will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So on the 17th, this is the 17th one, so that's where I'll put my stitch marker. If you look at it, it's aligned with the previous stitch marker. So I'll continue doing this till the end and come back, and I'll meet you again on the stitch marker. So just single crochet and come back and do your single crochet there, and stop on the stitch marker. So I've done my single crochet, my slip stitch till my stitch marker. Now I'm going to chain one. Is exactly what I did on the first, when we started on our first chain. So before I can continue, I want to show you something. You know, we've counted here is 16. A whole chain is 58. The whole chain is 58. In case you want to do with you want to measure the length of your beanie, so in centimeters I will calculate with this because this is the last chain that I made. So I'll do that, so which is it's about 30, this is 31 centimeters. We do the same thing again, and after chaining you turn and start as if we are beginning from that chain you started from. So you're going to do your single crochets across and back. So you're going to do that and back. So when you get to the last stitch, this is what we do again. We're going to work on that next chain next to our stitch marker. This is a stitch, this is where the stitch marker is, and then your single crochet is a back stitch that we are picking. So if it doesn't, you help it with your finger if it cannot go through because it's tighter, so you can help it with your finger, and that's it. And then you chain, you do the same thing until the end, and then you move your stitch marker, count 16 and put your stitch marker on the 17th. After you've done, when you reach the top, when you, it is the last two, after you're done you go back. That's when you put your stitch marker so that you won't be lost. So from here you do the same thing, chaining one, turning your work and starting again from that same, the next chain, single crochet, and you do this continuously until you have something like this, because I've already worked on something. This is what I've made. So this is the whole thing, if I can call these pieces or these repeats. I have how many? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 repeats. So I have say 8 repeats of the same thing, and that's how my beanie is going to look like. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to join. I'm going to fasten off here. Just cut my yarn and fasten off after chaining one. So I'm going to use the same thread, just leave enough to so this is what we're going to do here. We are going to put this, where shall I start? I'll start here. This is the back side, as I said, where there are bumps. So we are going to, because when you fold it, we need the smooth side up here. So we're going to crochet it like this so that everything will go inside. And starting from here, I will just run my yarn. So we continue doing this to the last stitch. So let's do this until the end. So this is how my head looks. This is the outside part, the inside part of it, and this is the outer part of it. So now that I'm done, I'll try to fasten off. I'm doing this in case when you want to fold your head, so that it doesn't look that awkward. So I'll just do a few, depending on how you want to fold your, how far you want to fold your head. So I would like to hold my head in that way. So when I turn it inside out, when it's folded, it doesn't look that awkward. You can see it looks much better that way. So it depends on how far you want to fold your head, and this is how I want to fold mine, and that's why I did the taking here, so it doesn't show that much. So this is my head, and yeah, we're done, guys. I'll just weave in the yarn. I'll just weave in. and yeah, go back. My stitches will not, and go back again. You go just under the stitches so it doesn't show the other way, it doesn't show on both sides. So go and I'll cut it, and I'm done. And try and weave in this one too. Just work it through the stitches where it will not show. Just run it in any of the stitches, and when you're turning, just skip one stitch so that it doesn't show that you've run the yarn there. See, on the other side it's not showing, and just pull it a little bit and cut the yarn after fastening off. Okay, this is our yarn. This is the top part of it. Our head is now done. And we have a beanie.